Katie, originally from London, and we moved over here with my 5 kids about 9 years ago. But anyway, the reason why I'm doing this is because my kids see me cooking in the kitchen all the time and never seem to follow a recipe because it's all stuff I've learned and picked up over the way, and family recipes that have been passed down by my mum and dad and my grandmother and people like that. I also went to chef school years and years ago and learnt a few tricks of the trade there. But my kids were in the kitchen with me over the Christmas holidays and said, "What happens when you die, Mum? And we don't know what all your recipes are. You never write anything down and you never follow a recipe." So they've persuaded me to do a few videos with our old family favourites and some new recipes that we picked up since living in America that I have kind of adjusted, because I don't really like to look at one recipe book because there's always bits and bobs that I don't like in any one, so I experiment. So this is our first attempt in my crazy house with my 5 kids, and my kids are actually videoing me now and doing hand signals because I look funny. But we'll give it a go. So today we're going to make something that I grew up with, which is called beef Oxford, and my dad taught me how to make this. So with these few basic ingredients on the counter, you can make a really scrummy family meal. What we're going to do first is turn the oven on to 375, get that warmed up. Just regular mushrooms, and to prepare those you just don't ever wash them because they'll be like little sponges. 2 green peppers, they're fairly large. Wash them and don't do as I usually do, forget to take the sticker off and someone gets a nice little treat with one of the little grocery stickers on. And again, this is really easy, just cut them down, and everything is big chunky pieces, so it really is. And I always have like a rubbish bowl handy, so it keeps everything neat and tidy. But just nice big strips of green pepper. See how this turns out, because nobody likes the sound of their own voice in the kitchen, especially me. So the next is a large onion. I don't like sweet onion, so this is just a regular large onion that we're gonna peel and again chop up into large slices. I'm chopping the onion, as you can see, into nice big pieces. And now we're on to the garlic. So as I said, never had too much garlic in the world. So I'm going to use at least 4 big cloves. Whack it, take off the skin, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Oh my god, I forgot to put my handy dandy onion goggles on. Aren't these lovely? But they are excellent, really stylish, and if you put these on, your eyes don't. This could be your lucky day. Anyway, don't do what I've done before, is put them on my head thinking that they're a pair of sunglasses, and then go out and go to put them on when you're out somewhere and you've got a pair of pink goggles on. Anyway, so we're done with, alright, so we've got our garlic. Alright, next part is the meat. Now, I've got a fairly big slab here, but it's usually about £2, but I have a big family to feed, so. And I also, this freezes really well, so I always do extra and put one in the freezer. Now, we need to sear the meat, and we also need to give it a nice crust, because the brown, as we sear the meat, is what gives everything the flavour. So in order to do that, the easiest way with less clean-up, I use about 2/3 of a cup of flour, bung it in the bag. You want a good tablespoon or 2 of salt in there to season everything, and a nice healthy pepper. Bung it all in there, and then we'll chop up the meat. I won't make you sit there and watch me do all of this, but and I like to have fairly big chunky pieces, so just hack away at this into nice decent size. Okay, so now we need to whack the stove on really high, and excuse my pot, but this is my favourite next to my nice knives piece of equipment in the kitchen. I use it for everything, as you can tell, because it's rather beat up, but you can make all kinds of things in that, so actually I need a bit more oil. So just some plain olive oil in a pan, get it nice and hot because you want to sear this meat. And what we're going to do is we're going to get some of our meat. Now you don't want to overcrowd the pot when you're searing meat because it will steam and it'll be disgusting and you won't get anything. So give it, shake it off, and then you just want to dump it into your hot oil. And again, you only want to put a few things in at a time, and it's a bit of a pain in the neck to sit and do this stage, but it really is essential to get the meat nice and brown without rushing it and crowding the pan, because it won't taste good. So, and really what you want, if you go to lift it up and it sticks, you know it's not ready to lift. So we're going to turn it over, brown the other side, and then when that side's done and it's browned all over, we're going to transfer it into a dish to keep one side while we do the rest of the stuff. So while I'm doing this, so in the same pan that you cook the meat, all these brown bits are nice. So Ysabella, chuck most of those onions in, but not all. Just like whack them in. Right. No. A mess you're making.
Have you seen the mess you made?
Yeah, I know, but I'm being creative. Alright, so you've got your onions in there, you want to sizzle it all around. And the green peppers go in.
All of them?
All of them. Come in. Go on, stick the whole thing in. Alright, the mushrooms.
All of them?
Yeah, all of them. And you really just want to sweat these down a bit in the oil. A little bit of extra oil to the pan. And we do this down a bit. Keep an eye on it. And you want to add some more salt and pepper, chef. Alright. No, a bit more than that. That's, yeah, a bit of welly, it's a lot of food there. Alright, let's see if we can get some in the pot rather than the floor. There we go, excellent. That'll do. Oh, chuck it all in. Go wash your hands. After shaking the meat, don't throw it away. Chuck it in the pan. And you want to do this before you add any liquid, because otherwise you'll get lumps and that will just thicken the sauce. And I'm just going to add a little bit more. I've got a big cup here, but like a tablespoon or so. So stir that round. I love to cook with wine. Sometimes I even put it in my food. Alright, so again, something that you drink, don't use cooking wine or anything gross like that. And you really want to add, if I'm doing a large quantity today because I like to freeze it, but it's equal parts red wine to beef stock. So I'm going to add probably half a bottle of this, if not more. So that goes in, and then Ysabella, you've got to scrape up all those brown bits gently, like with the recipe. Get in the bottom and give it a good bit of welly. Scrape careful, gently, because you don't want it turning you. And all those brown bits where you sear the meat are going to come off and make a really good sauce. So, the apricot jam. Now, if I told my kids, well they know it now, I'd put apricot jam in this, they wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. So, a couple of tablespoons of the apricot jam. And you've got to remember that all that green pepper is quite bitter, so this really rounds everything out. So that goes in there. So again, like equal parts. And really what you want to do, because this is really like a stew, you want to make sure there's enough liquid for the meat and everything. Now, the other thing I like to add to boost a bit of beefy flavour, these are called oxo cubes. They're actually from England and they're really just beef stock cubes. You don't have to add them, doesn't really. I think the original recipe from year dot when my dad was teaching me this didn't have it, but you just crumble these in. But if you're in England, you can get them. If not, you can use an American
like
stock cube. And you just
and
crumble them in. Alright, so the beef and all its juices go back in the pot. Like that. Mix. You turn off the heat, you put the lid on, and you're going to bung it in the oven for about 2.5 hours, and it'll be done. and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. And basically the beef Oxford is done. We're just keeping it warm. Just doing some mashed potatoes, and we've got steamed broccoli to go with it. So we'll show you when. And Joshy's found the French bread that we serve with it, and is dipping in as we go. How is it?
Good.
Okay, so dinner is served. So there's the beef Oxford. Just finished it with a sprinkling of parsley, and we serve it with steamed broccoli, some nice creamy mashed potatoes, and you've got to have the crusty bread.
I'm taking 2 beef.
Yeah, so normally there's more of us, my husband Tony and the other two, Tom and Sam, but they're all busy, so where we can we try and sit down at a family meal. Hope you like the video. Bye.